the third race of the season for Division 2 of the NNSCRA Skittles Super Speedway Series, ready to be run here at the Piggzcreek Super Speedway. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome here at this track, just a little over 4 miles in length. And if you didn't tune in to yesterday's Division 1 race, we have no idea what to expect in this one, because in yesterday's Division 1 race, we had 2 cautions. First one came out on lap 1 for a wreck. The second one came out because someone ran out of fuel as we were right around the green flag pit stops in the event, and it came down to a 1-lap shootout. So these drivers hopefully were watching that race, they've taken notes, and they're going to know what they're going to have to do to apply to winning today's race. And it's kind of interesting too, because we had a fuel strategy race as, let's say, our template in yesterday's event, and we're coming off the heels of a fuel strategy race last week at Armory, in which we saw William Brock be able to have just enough fumes to be able to best Simon Salera, who ran out of fuel out of turn 4, coming to the checkered flag to pick up his first win of the season. Brock joins Caleb Farrell as a winner so far this season in Division 2. So, will we see a third driver go to victory lane in this one? We're going to have to wait and see. It's kind of interesting that the rivalry is going to rekindle towards the front of the field. Brock, who took the win, Salera, who he was able to pass out of turn 4. They are starting kitty corner to each other, with Salera second and Brock in third. But they will both start behind the number 2 Hooters Ford Fusion of Dillon Young, who was the fastest in qualifying and as a consequence starts on his first pole of the season. Dillon Young, coming into this race, is third in the point standings, had a great run last week at Armory, and so a lot of good stuff coming the way of that driver. We'll see if he can keep the momentum up with a possible win here today. Let's go down trackside, get those most famous words in motorsports, and then we'll give you your top 10 the points coming into today's race at Piggzcreek.
Drivers, start your engines!
And so, as the command is given, your top 10 coming into this race, which includes our 2 former winners from this season so far. Caleb Farrell, he is still the points leader. As a matter of fact, 2 races and 3 drivers have finished in the top 5 in both races. Farrell being one of them. William Flickinger, who is second, is another, and Simon Salera, who is third, is the third driver. They are separated by 7 points, are the top 3. William Brock, with his win last week, jumped up to 4th. Fury Gamington currently in 5th. Chris Maley is 6th. Trey Wright cracked the top 10 last week, is up to 7th. John Andrews up to 8th. And Levi McIntire, Vince Almariego complete the top 10. The top 10 in points separated by 32 points. Matter of fact, the top 12 in the standings are separated by 32 points. And I mentioned that there was about less than 2 races separation between 1st through 40th in Division 1. It's a little more spread out here in Division 2. 75 points separate first from last in this division. Dead last in points coming into this race, the 59 of Zachary Fitzwater. Well, we saw Seth Cole take the checkered flag in Division 1 race yesterday. He did it from the 15th position starting spot. Will a driver from 15th win today? The driver that hopes so is Keith Batson. That's where he's going to be starting. And if you didn't also tune in to yesterday's Division 1 race, I've got some weird thing going on with my computer where it keeps windowing out of the game randomly. So if you end up having a lag spike where the field freezes up and then comes back, freezes up, then comes back, you'll know what that is. I'm able to fix it, but I'm not able to fix it right away. So just bear with me. We also know these drivers will have to pit before this race is over. A lot of the drivers in Division 1 came to pit road around the halfway point, somewhere between laps 8 to 11. But you can't stretch it too far, because if you run out of fuel, it's going to take you a long time to get back. As the green flag's in the air, let's roll at Piggzcreek. They were 5 wide on the back straightaway on lap 1 in the Division 1 race, and they are almost 5 wide already between turns 1 and 2 as Dillon Young leads the way over William Brock. Josh Drake pulls down to the inside line. Can they give enough room down the back straightaway here to have us complete the first lap of the weekend under green? Looks like they're minding their manners pretty well all the way back through this field. 4 wide up around maybe the 10th position That's ONeal Balvin way up on the outside line. Nobody helping him. He's going to drop back as now it's going to be 3 wide for the lead. Josh Drake in the middle. Here comes Jordan Lopes up the inside with another Toyota in Nathan Stapleton. Keith Batson now slots down third on that inside line, and then the points leader Caleb Farrell right there as well. Looks like we are still green as one car way back there. That's the 26 of Daniel Voyles. Hope he doesn't lose the draft. He was about 3-4 car lengths back from the last car in this lead pack. We're going to have to wait and see if he does remain up with the field. If they remain 5 wide like they are right now, probably he'll be able to. I think they're 6 wide at some ports of this pack right now, which is going to be very testy when they get to the back straightaway. Michael Norman now up the inside line. He's going to take the race lead. Rob Evans right there as well. He's thinking about 4 wide as they are leaning on each other back there. That's Nathan Ormond and Sedale Salera. Ooh, look at right there, the 58 of Patrick Smith right on the left rear quarter panel of Nathan Stapleton. He's got to get off of him or they're going to wreck. Now they're leaning on each other there into the corner as Rob Evans trying to take the top position. Alexander Rowe there. Cody Llamas, who started near the rear of the field 39th. He's already up here into the top 5. And the way that they're leaning on each other, not giving each other room, I am shocked that we have not had a caution yet. Jeff Scott in the 35, that Dodge down on the bottom, trying to get some drivers working with him. He had Fury Gamington for a moment and James Shelly. Now they're going to fan out, and they're going to be 5 wide for second going into turn 1. Look at this, they're 6 wide with Tristen Allen, James Shelly, Cody Llamas, and others. Fury Gamington now has friends down on the bottom. He's looking for the lead. Help from Simon Bloomfield's Toyota, John Andrews Chevrolet. They're pushing a Dodge. And Gamington's going to get out to the top position easily, now 3 wide for second. And I guess Daniel Voyles was able to stay in the draft. He's now making his way towards the front of that inside line behind Trey Wright in the 34 and Alex Gray in the 08. Now Gamington and Evans side by side into 3 as they continue to battle 3 wide, 4 wide, 5 wide, and in some points of the field even 6 wide. But somehow they're keeping it together. Here comes Trey Wright with a big run. Nope, check that. Alex Gray steps out of line. They'll be 3 wide off of 4. 203 miles per hour out of the corner. 5 and 6 wide, and somehow still keeping it green. Who's going to lead this lap? Will it be Gray, Wright, or Gamington? It's going to be close, and it was Gray, I believe. Will the ticker say otherwise? No, it was Alex Gray at the line. 4 wide for the lead. Here comes Lopes and Stapleton again. And now Stapleton's going to go to the bottom. He's going to try and take the lead. This is completely polar opposite of what we saw in the Division 1 race. For one thing, they are 5 and 6 wide and keeping it green. They were unable to do that in the Division 1 race. Secondly, it is looking like it's very difficult for drivers to be able to keep it out in front. And I think the caution may be out. I think I heard someone spinning back there. I think we finally have had the yellow. It takes place on lap 4, but that's certainly a lot further than we made it in Division 1 as Jake Galloway will now go to the front. Galloway, who started on the pole last week at Armory, now showing the way here at Piggzcreek. James Shelly right behind him. Kyle Langeland, Benny Watson as well. Yes, indeed, yellow lights on the caution lights just on the outside of the track. So we are racing back to the yellow flag, and this is interesting because this might be able to put us right within our fuel window to the finish of this race, as Galloway will lead us under the first caution of the day here at Piggzcreek in Division 2. Langeland was second, Stapleton third, Shelly and Simon Salera were the top 5 as these drivers will now pick up the Pontiac Grand Prix pace car. Now it's very difficult to be able to wager a guess of who was involved, but I think this might have started around Cody Llamas. I saw him squeezed in the middle of a 5 wide situation. We'll find out momentarily as Alex Benyacko, who did not have a good qualifying result, started dead last. He was involved. And the points leader, Caleb Farrell, was also in it. Big donut behind the right front tire. A lot of right side damage on his DC Comics Chevrolet. Levi McIntire, who came into this race 9th in points, was involved. The pole sitter, Dillon Young, back here, looks like he's got some left front damage. And there is Cody Llamas, so he was in it. Right side damage on his car. Josh Drake has damage. Sedale Salera, Alexander Rowe, they all have some damage. Well, I thought the 83 had right side damage. Maybe not. Let's file through and see if there's any other drivers here with cosmetic damage. I don't really see anybody here with damage unless they've got right side damage that we can't see from this angle. Looks like all these drivers may have gotten through. Nope, there's some damage on the left side of Trey Wright, the Boy Scouts of America Ford. And Trey is up just outside of the top 10. So he must have just gotten scathed as he was making his way through the wreck. Jake Galloway, the leader, and looks like, well, some drivers are going to hit pit road. But Galloway is going to stay out, as well as Vince Almariego and Alex Gray. So they apparently feel that everyone still is going to have to hit pit road before this race is over. No sense giving up track position here under yellow. So as the top 3 will be the 23, 56, and 08 when we go back green. Let's go back and take a look at a replay what brought out the first caution of the day here at Piggzcreek. Yeah, 5 wide off the corner, turns into 6 wide as Tristen Allen got a good run on the top side. That's Alex Benyacko, Cody Llamas, Farrell. Actually, it fanned back out to 5 wide as William Flickinger was able to clear this pack. Look at him behind them as well, leaning on each other. Oh, it happened further up. Oh, I thought it started here with Llamas and Benyacko. So who does it start with? It starts with McIntire in the 99. So let's rewind it back. That's my apologies. Oh, yeah, contact between McIntire and Gray. That was right up near the front of the field, too. That was a battle somewhere, maybe unofficially, for 7th, 8th place. That's why Trey Wright had his left side damage. Gray was into his driver's side door, and right there, McIntire is going to get spun the wrong direction. He clips the right side of Eric Sadler, so Sadler got damaged, and then everybody's trying to get to the inside to avoid, and that's what happened here with Drake and Rowe. Balvin got a piece of it. Jack Hallec might have gotten involved. There's Sedale Salera. And then you look further back here, and there's these drivers spinning down to the inside. Fitzwater, Young, Farrell, and Benyacko. I can't tell through this cloud of smoke if there's anybody else in there. I just see those 4 drivers in particular. Boy, Drake's got some pretty extensive front-end damage on his Autism Speaks Chevy. And it looks like those 4 were the 4 that were involved that I had mentioned. I mean, to be honest, we got away relatively unscathed in terms of how violent the wreck could have been. It was really just a lot of spinning. But that is going to damage a number of these drivers and make them not as aerodynamically sound as they would have been at the start of this race, so it could take them out of the win as early as lap 4. We're going to have to wait and see. And, of course, a couple of drivers, like we mentioned there, the points leader Farrell and Levi McIntire. Those are a couple of drivers that came into this race in the top 10 in the points, involved in this one early on at Piggzcreek. Well, at this point, we have 40 of our drivers still running, I believe, 39 on the lead lap, and nobody out of the race. So those cars that were damaged, we'll see if the crews were able to do a good enough job to have them aerodynamically sound, still stay in the draft, maybe have a shot at least a decent finish here today. The top 3 decided to stay out. Galloway, Almariego, and Gray. So they are obviously planning that everyone is still going to have to pit before this race is over, whether it be under green or under caution. So they've got good starting track position right now. If, though, the drivers 4th on back can make it the rest of the way, these 3 have basically probably screwed themselves out of a really good finish. But Galloway, Almariego, and Gray, they will be the top 3. Langeland's team was the fastest on pit road. He came out the leader, so he will restart in 4th. Simon Salera in 5th, Stapleton 6th, Lopes in 7th, Gamington in 8th, 9th Watson, and 10th is Bloomfield. Now, I mentioned that 39 of our 40 drivers are on the lead lap. One driver is currently scored 2 laps down. That is the 71 of James Shelly. Now, I'm not certain if he's still on pit road. Yes, he is, and you can see he's got right side damage, so that says to me that there might have been an incident on pit road during that caution flag. And that's going to hurt James Shelly for sure. Shelly coming into this race situated 36th in points, had a poor performance last week at Armory Digital, so certainly not what that team was looking for. So Galloway will lead us back to green. It'll be 10 laps to go here at Piggzcreek. And the green flag is back in the air. And with it being the fuel window is roughly 12 to 14 laps here, I think those drivers that came to pit road, if they got their cars full of fuel, they're good to go the rest of the way. So they're banking on this race going green to the end. The top three, hoping we're going to see at least one more caution. Once these drivers get up to full song, we'll drop towards the back and see some of the drivers that got involved in the wreck if they are still able to keep up with the lead pack. A couple of drivers that I would question whether they can or not would include McIntire, Llamas, Farrell, and Drake. They, for the most part, got the most damage out of that wreck on the back straightaway, but we're going to have to wait and see. Langeland, we know, was the first car to come off pit road, so he has a little bit more fuel than everybody else, so he's charging towards the front as hard as he can. Now he's side by side with Nathan Stapleton in the 72. Galloway getting very valuable bonus points here, not only for leading a lap, but also with seeing how difficult it was early on for drivers to hold the top position. Those couple of laps he led under pacing might just give him the bonus point for most laps led as well. Galloway, who came into this race situated in the 39th position in points, despite having that pole back last week at Armory, struggling and certainly trying to fight for every point he can get, but now he's going to lose the lead. Nathan Stapleton, with help from Fury Gamington and his teammate right behind them, and Benny Watson, they're going to move towards the front. Now Gamington to the inside of Stapleton. As they continue to battle for the lead, we're going to drop back here. Shelly's going to return to the track, albeit 4 laps down, I believe. Looks like Cody Llamas is off the pace. He's not going to finish this race up near the front. So certainly not what Cody was looking for today. Cody came into this race 20th in points, had a semi-decent run last week at Armory. Josh Drake, I was really worried about that front end damage. You can see he's lost the pack. William Brockway back here. He's lost the pack. Our winner from last week and a driver that came into this race 4th in the point standings. Almost wonder if maybe he was the one that got into Shelly. Rob Evans has hit pit road. And we saw Alex Gray there in the 08 as well. He had to come to pit lane after staying out under that caution. Levi McIntire appears to have lost the draft. Alexander Rowe, Caleb Farrell trying to stay up as best they can. William Flickinger, Sedale Salera, Trey Wright also back here, maybe in danger, as Zachary Fitzwater's got rear end damage. Benyacko, Dillon Young back here, ONeal Balvin, Tristen Allen, all trying to keep up. But easier said than done at a big track like this, especially with the field not exactly 4 and 5 wide like we saw them earlier on, which made it easier for drivers to be able to catch up to the lead pack. 3 wide and double wide, they're going to produce a lot more straightaway speed and be able to pull away from those drivers that are slightly off the pace. Well, so far this season, we have had 2 Toyotas go to victory lane and 3 Chevrolets, as now Galloway has to hit pit road. This is a regularly scheduled stop for the 23. The 08 has already been to pit road of Alex Gray. I don't know if the other driver that had stayed out, Vince Almariego, if he's hit pit lane yet or not. My assumption is he probably had to pit this lap. No, I guess he's still out there. There he is. Yeah, Almariego's still running. He'll probably have to hit pit road this next lap, I would think. But so far, as I said, 3 wins for Chevy, 2 wins for Toyota. Dodge and Ford still looking for their first wins of the season. You got a Dodge out in front here in Gamington. Was that a car up ahead? It is. That's the 15 of Cody Llamas they're about to encounter. How are they going to deal with the lap car? Well, actually, it's not a lap car yet. And now he is, as Gamington will pass him on the outside. They're going to split him 3 wide. Norman, we didn't have anybody down there helping him anyway, losing some spots. So Gamington, who currently comes into this race 5th in points, not only looking for a win, but also looking to take the points lead. And Cody Llamas going to get out of the way of the lead lap cars. He's heading back to pit road. Benny Watson running currently in 2nd. He comes into this race in the 25th position in points after he had a good run last week. And there's Adam Garcia, whose season started off horribly. 2 backup cars at Daytona. And Garcia right now comes in this race 34th in points. So you got a couple of drivers here that really want to find victory lane. Top 5 completed by Nathan Ormond in the 95, Simon Bloomfield in the 21. Ormond's 32nd in points, Bloomfield in 23rd. So right now, out of the top 5, the one that's running the best, the guy that's out in front, 5th place in the standings, Fury Gamington. So these guys behind him, you can bet, are probably going to gang up on him at some point. You got Michael Norman also just hanging on there. Norman had a great run last week at Armory, and he's up to 17th in points. But still, that question of can these drivers, despite pitting when they did, can they make it on fuel? Norman wants to get an inside line going, but nobody's willing to go with him. That's the 2nd or 3rd time I've seen him go down there, and he's been left all alone. Now here comes that 2nd pack. The top 6 had kind of separated when they were all trying to get around Cody Llamas, and now Charles Sandfer with a big run. Jordan Lopez and John Andrews in tow. He's charging up. He just moved from 7th up to 3rd, or up to 4th rather, just like that. And he brought Daniel Voyles, Keith Batson along with him. Jeff Scott, Nathan Stapleton, Jack Halleck's in that group. There's another car back there. I couldn't tell who that was. Still can't. Looks like that might have been the 77 of Jesse Turner, but I'm not 100% certain. It was Turner. And also Kyle Langeland in the 62. And Llamas down on the apron. That 15 looked like he might have been out of fuel. Was he just out of the way or was he out of fuel? Rob Evans with another pit stop. So problems mechanically probably for the 65. And Llamas is out of fuel, it looks like. That car is slowing. Now, we did have NNSCRA officials throw a caution for a car that was on the racing surface and stopped. And there it is. Caution is out, probably for the 15 of Llamas. So Gamington just took the caution. Llamas couldn't make it back to pit road. They had to throw the yellow. And as a consequence, that's going to set us up either for a one-lap shootout or this race might be over. We're going to have to wait and see. Fury Gamington would love this race to be over. He's in the lead. These drivers now will be able to make it to the checkers on fuel. They won't have to pit. They can clutch and save fuel. So as Gamington leads, let's go back and see. First off, let's find out what happened to James Shelly in pit road, and then we'll see what happened with Cody Llamas to bring out this caution. This was all the way back on the pit stops on lap 5. James Shelly, regular routine pit stop here, but watch when he comes off pit road. He's got to swing out to avoid his teammate Karson Gum. At the same time, William Flickinger in the 44 trying to come into his pit stall. Shelly's going to get pinned between the 44 and the 19, and then look at this. Car up and into the air. The rear tires leave the racing surface. And there's going to be some contact there as well with his teammate Karson Gum. So that's what happened to Shelly, and he had to, as a consequence, teleport back to his pit stall. And that's what lost him multiple laps. We know for certain it was Cody Llamas running out of fuel on the racing surface that brought out the caution. So let's go back and see if we're going to have a restart.
Gamington's
Dodge. And as you can see, the lights
are still on atop the pace car. I think we would have been able to have a one-lap shootout like we did in yesterday's Division 1 race, but the reason that we aren't going to, they had to throw the yellow for an extra lap of caution because there was some kind of strange thing in terms of drivers not knowing where the pace car was. and the whole field almost came to a complete stop after crossing the start-finish line. As a consequence, with everybody stopped, the yellow flag was thrown for another lap, and we're not going to get back green. But that won't be a problem for Fury Gamington, at least. He is going to take the caution and the checkered flag, and he'll be picking up his first win of the season here in the Skittles Super Speedway Series, and as a consequence, probably he'll take the points lead too. He came into this race 5th in the points, so going to be a very big day for Fury Gamington. It also is Dodge's first win of the season in the Skittles Super Speedway Series, so now we're just waiting on Ford to get their first win in the Skittles Super Speedway Series, which they may get next week at FTF. We're going to have to wait and see. It's coming out of turn number 4. Fury Gamington, right place, right time. The aid of some kind of a strange, I don't really even know what to call it. Just cars stalling out under pacing. Puts the extra lap of caution, which means we don't have that one lap for green flag racing. And Fury Gamington is going to come out of the exit of the front straightaway down to the start-finish line near the entrance of turn number 1, and he will win here today, Division 2 race at Piggzcreek Super Speedway. Well, a very bizarre way to end off this race, and a little disappointed we didn't get to finish this race under green. This race was following along the same lines of our Division 1 race, but in that race we at least had a one-lap shootout under green to finish it out. This one ends under caution, and if I'm not mistaken, I believe this is the first race all season that's going to end under the yellow flag. Let's take a look at the full finishing results from today's race. Gamington with the win. Nice run for Charles Sandfer as he'll bring it home in 2nd. Benny Watson there in 3rd, Keith Batson 4th, and Jeff Scott's going to finish in 5th, so 2 Dodgers will finish in the top 5 here today. Adam Garcia, nice to see that team get a good run. They've had hardships ever since the start of the season at Daytona. He's going to get 6th. Nathan Ormond brings it home in 7th. 8th will be Jordan Lopez, Nathan Stapleton in 9th, and completing the top 10 is going to be the 3 of Michael Norman. Then it'll be the 57 of John Andrews, great run in 11th. 12th place is going to be Jack Hallec. Simon Bloomfield was 13th, Daniel Voyles 14th, his teammate Kyle Langeland 15th, and the rest of the top 20, Jesse Turner, Patrick Smith, Karson Gum, who we saw have that little bit of contact with his teammate on pit road. He still was able to get 18th, 19th place was Eric Sadler, and completing the top 20 was Chris Maley. And you look on down through the rest of the finishing results, and a couple of drivers in particular that I see that had a poor performance today that really didn't need that would include Caleb Farrell, obviously, the points leader. He's going to finish 37th here today, so not the run he was looking for, and 3 cars finished off the lead lap. They were the cars of Rob Evans, James Shelly, and Cody Llamas, but nobody finished out of the race. We did have damaged race cars, we did have cars run out of fuel, but all 40 cars that took the green to start this race actually completed this 18-lap event. But Fury Gamington gets the position everyone was fighting for. He won and might have just put himself in position to be one of the 8 representatives from Division 2 to be in this season's chase for the championship. We're going to have to wait and see if that's the case. So far, 3 races, 3 different winners here in Division 2. Same can be said for Division 1, and we could have our 7th and 8th different winner next week at FTF. Hope you guys enjoyed today's race. If you did, enjoy today's